Y'all, let's be honest. Your team can be your greatest joy and your biggest frustration all at one time. So if you're exhausted, you're running on fumes trying to lead a team that isn't taking ownership, a culture that keeps slipping, and turnover that puts you right back at square one every single time you finally feel like you're having momentum. Maybe you're even avoiding hard conversations. You're carrying the emotional weight of every person on your payroll. And underneath it all, you're a leader who is burnt out, running on empty, and wondering how long you can keep doing this at the same pace. Every time you feel like you're ready for the next level, something cracks and you're right back where you started. What you won't see is that you'll keep just growing without fixing this, and guess what? You don't leave these problems behind, you just have them at a bigger scale.
And that's exactly why we created the HeartWork Collective. It's 6 months for you and your team to grow together through real ownership, real communication, and a real development that actually changes how your business runs day to day. So 6 months from now, your team will own their roles. They'll bring you solutions instead of more to manage. And you're leading from a grounded place instead of a reactive one. The practice runs without you having to be in every room, and you get to have your energy back. It's no longer all on you, not because you hired better, but because you developed better, because you showed up more whole. And if everyone is doing that, that creates one hell of a dynamic team culture that no one wants to leave, and a client experience that people won't be able to stop talking about when you're not in the room. So if any of this hit close to home, link is in our show notes, and we'll see you in the collective.
Welcome to the HeartWork podcast, where we delve into stories, struggles, and triumphs of entrepreneurship, leadership, and personal growth. I'm Dr. Sara.
And I'm Dr. Marisa. We're here to guide practitioners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and those just navigating the complexities of life on a journey of discovery that explores the dance between passion and strategy, heart and hustle.
With candid conversations, insightful interviews, and plenty of laughs, get ready to uncover how leading with heart can transform your business and life. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to another episode of the HeartWork podcast. Today is so special because we are going to give you an inside peek of the conversations that got to happen at our recent HeartWork live event on March 13th and 14th. We had 20 people join us at the event that weekend. So that is 20 lives that we got to speak into and shift perspective with and invite into a safe space to really go there. And when I say go there, I mean like really get into it. Like you're not just watching the mud fight, like you're in the mud fight. This isn't like, hey, yeah, we're struggling with our identity and we're going through an identity crisis potentially. And it's like, well, just, yep, okay, notice when that comes up and then just immediately switch into like, cool, well, I don't have time for that identity. This is the identity I have time for. I'm going to stay in that and I'm going to keep pushing and move forward because the more I can fake it, the more I can make it. Okay, that might be good for you for like a day. A random occurrence here and there. But like that doesn't actually solve why the fuck that's present in the first place. Like you have to know how to actually go there. Why is this your identity? Like why are you struggling with it? What are the times that you feel the most triggered by it? And what is that actually sharing with you and showing you? Because it's the same thing with health. It's like we can give you one chiropractic adjustment. You might feel better for a little bit, but then that shit just comes on back. Like you cannot out supplement a dysregulated nervous system. You can't sleep well one night and be like, yay, I have so much energy. And then the next night you sleep like crap and be like, okay, that worked, didn't work, blah, blah, blah. So what our intention is with this HeartWork space really is to allow us to actually go to those places that you may not have developed any necessary tools to go there, because again, like nobody teaches you how to do this stuff. Nobody teaches you to really like go within and talk to your inner child or find out why the wounding is what the wounding is and be able to put also like parameters around the experience so that you have something to anchor to as well that doesn't just feel so fluffy or like out there, unattainable or unreachable. And that was, I think, one of the beautiful parts of this weekend was being able to actually give name, give voice, give light to those places that remain in the dark, regardless of how much mindset work you may do.
I think one of the coolest things that I realized a lot from this weekend as well is that so many times when you go to conferences or you go in a place with people, you typically are always looking for a solution. You're looking for an answer. You're looking for something to fix, and you're looking for maybe even just motivation and inspiration because you feel like that you need that energy high to be able to help solve something in your life. And I think where we are brilliant is that we are really going to invite you into a place that we don't just give you an answer and we're not just going to solve a problem with you. And I'm okay if you would leave our space and there's still a lot of unknown. And there still is a lot of trust that is going to be facilitated and you're invited into in this following weeks, months, season. And that was something that I really observed a lot is that, and I was really proud of us for, is that we weren't there just to solve a problem for people, because I think that's, again, a lot of people come for that. And I get it. I'm a how-to gal as well. And that was really uncomfortable for me in the beginning when I did a lot of this work is like, well, I just want you to tell me how I'm going to understand my identity. I'm going to figure out how to be a better leader. I want to figure out how do I now process this false identity and navigate. How do I become this human that can lead these people well, have conversations, run a business, and not have to worry about it, whether it's going to fall apart? I want to know how to do all these, like the how becomes the biggest like temperature for me versus it be more of the why and the what. And so that I just am really proud of us for that. I feel like that is part of the reason why the work that we do is so important and just beautiful. And I think that's why people really wanted it. Like whether they still, I think at the end of the day, I still think people came from a lot of the how of like, well, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing right now? I feel like my life is in a shit show and I don't know what to do with it. And at the same time, it's like we can hold space to be in that vicinity with them, but not have to solve the problem. And I think that is really powerful to know that because life itself is messy. Life itself is not just you don't have a cookie cutter solution to life in general. So I think that is just, one of the coolest things I saw from the whole weekend. And yeah, and the way that was facilitated, I think we've talked about this from our past event too, where we really bring people in, where we utilize a space that allows people to get grounded. You know this, like how many people talked about how one of their favorite things was literally Friday. Like every single feedback is always Friday because of how much we literally transport you into an environment where you have to disengage from your normal routine, your normal rhythm. It invites you into a space that is surrounded by nature, which naturally is just going to engage you in a completely different element. Allows you to ground. We literally did a meditative type opportunity and like literally there was journaling. There was opportunity just to like dance with yourself a little bit and get really, really grounded there and eat beautiful food and be around with amazing human beings. And also I think it started to unfold this place for some playfulness, this creativity, this reality of, again, just getting out of your comfort zone and understanding where our own egos, where our own false versions of ourselves tend to keep us from actually fully living our lives and fully being present with it. And it was so radically beautiful to watch people get emotional, watch people get just like, God, I'm doing these things and I can't believe I'm doing it. And also, okay, now I'm aware of it. Like how fucking cool is that is something that people get to embrace and get to be a part of. I think it's just miraculous.
It is. And I think to your point of like the how versus like the sitting is really distinctive because you could literally pay so many different people to give you a million different paths of the how. Like there are so many groups, organizations, coaches that can say, identify your problem, quote unquote, and then give you a path towards a solution. But what that doesn't do is actually say, is my path in alignment with what you're feeling?
Yes.
Because again, you can be told all these hows and be like, okay, this is how I have to do it. Or this person said this and I really trust them and look what they've built. So like, I'm clearly going to follow in that. And then you're going to end up on the other side of that problem, still dealing with the same roots, but now just with a different problem because you followed that how. And now, in fact, you may feel more disconnected from yourself and more questioning of what it is that you want and more unable to really pinpoint why the fuck you feel this way. And end up with the same shit And so when you have a place, when you have people that are able to actually hold that for you and say, hold on, before we actually get into the how, because I think you and I are also brilliant in having different how avenues. Like even for me, like I'm a huge, like I love to see all the different sides of the coin from different angles, different positions, different sides of the sun, place, and the moon. Like just give us all of the options. But none of that shit is gonna work if we don't know what you want. And none of us knowing what you want is gonna work without you knowing what you want. We cannot tell you or give you advice or give you options on what could be with you feeling so disconnected from your inner self that you don't even know what it is the fuck to go.
Mhm. I think that was
It's true.
strange.
And I think that was something we saw so much. Like people are like, I'm really in a space and it's like, I don't really know what it is. At least for the leaders, like what really
Yeah.
is next? Like there's been life, there's been transition, there's been adaptation. And I'm kind of not sure of like what's next. And that can be a really beautiful space to go. But if you immediately follow like one or two people's, like if you follow like an outside opinion constantly on what that is and you don't feel called to move through that, that could be a really big deal. I notice this within myself whenever I'm having a problem, I'm like so quick to outsource,
Mhm.
wanting to find a solution from other people and like consult other people. Even if it's not the same opinion, I'll want a million different opinions because I'm like, well, then the truth lies somewhere in the consensus of opinions. But
Wow.
again, what you do with that is then you tend to follow the path. And sometimes you ain't meant to follow the path of consensus opinion. You are meant to create your own damn path. And that's the brilliance of art. And that's also where on Friday, Sarah alluded to this, but we were out on property. We were out on 13 acres. We were out on our farm. We were out in nature. And we also got an opportunity to be really creative. We did some art. We did some messiness. We did some dance. Like we moved our bodies. We got around. We laid in the sun. Like, I know. I know. It's like 5-year-old stuff. But you know what? There's a 5-year-old living inside of you that you are disconnected from. And when we get so meshed into our business and meshed into the day-to-day doing, we don't always have the opportunity to reconnect with that. And if you are connected to yourself, so many other aspects of your life are going to thrive. It's going to infuse every part of your business. And it's going to
Mhm.
help you continue to make the decisions that feel the most alignment with you and your business. And then this is something that totally applies to also like we didn't just have leaders there. We had their employees, we had their team members, we had all like health providers, so we had their associate partners and doctors. And it's not just something that leaders go through, it's something that even our employees and our individuals go through. Knowing what you want, what is it that you're looking for in life? How is that affecting the way that you're showing up to your job, to your role, to the ownership that you take? It's big stuff. And having a space to like be able to just have those conversations because you can't always have them with your boss. Sometimes you just need to like release it and have like a third party just be present to like hear it. It doesn't mean that you're looking for a solution or looking to change anything. Sometimes you just need to be seen and acknowledged with someone else that understands it because sometimes talking to a friend, they're just not in it in the same way. And so having trusted people that also understand and get the circumstance of the environment that you are operating in and living in day to day is really freaking valuable. And that's why we're creating this collective because we know it's a lot for teams, especially we have some colleagues that have teams of like 10 to 15 people. It's a lot to get them to fly down to Knoxville, Tennessee. Even though we know that that would be an incredibly transformative weekend for them. It's like, what could we do that gives people an opportunity to be a part of this without, by being able to have easy access in like a virtual online container. And that's what we created that collective for, was be able to get to regularly do this work because we've had teams there that were there 6 months ago in September and are like showing up completely different this time. And it's like, gosh, if that happened with one weekend, imagine what that could do for you, your team, and your office when you have monthly unlimited access and check-ins.
Truly. I think one of my favorite, little testimonials that we got was from one of the team members that was there. She's like 60 years old, and for one, just the reality that a CEO and a boss has the desire to pour into their team in the way that they decide. They chose to pay to come to an event And they also chose to develop not only themselves, but to honor their team enough to where like, I see potential in them and I want to be able to provide this space just enough for them as well. Is just freaking phenomenal. I think it's incredible. And this beautiful lady, she had been with this office for a while and she's over 60 years old. She's like, this is the first time I've ever really asked myself these questions of what it is that I want for my life. Like, how brilliant is that?
You know,
Freaking how brilliant is that? 60 some years old and is finally asking herself the question of what is it that I want for my life? Like, it never stops, right? At the end of the day, too, it's like, for one, you're never too late and we're never out of time. It's like, you never know when something's going to collide for what your heart desires and what it wants. And so, goodness gracious. And I think one of the beautiful part of just a reminder for myself and us, and also for everybody that's listening to this, is sometimes you just really need to listen and lean into your intuition, whether or not you understand why. Our whole emphasis of this weekend was kind of sharing both Marisa and I's story as we've navigated a lot of this work. And sometimes it's interesting because when you share your story, you don't always just have a bunch of frameworks you're building those stories around, right? Like we did have some teachings and we had some things that we really built, which is amazing. However, the stories themselves allowed for openness and vulnerability for people. And we also brought in one of our coaches. We've talked about him so many times. We brought in Pablo. So we utilized a coach on Friday, utilized another coach on Saturday to really allow for some openness. And the framework that he built and really taught around was what are called the 9 false identities. And I'm not going to give all that away because that's going to be something that you're going to get in the collective. You'll have access to the beautiful opportunity to see that video and all that beautiful stuff. However, one of the things that came from that is just mind blowing to me, because when you and I were talking about what this weekend was really meant to be, I think there was a lot of this alluding for life can have a lot of both and really asking the question, what is it that we want? I literally have been freaking asking that same question since June of last year. What is it that I want for my business and for my life? We come off of just a little snip piece of what we came into with one of our breakout sessions after Pablo's teaching. And we were getting ready to go through this whole thing. And one of the girls started talking of these are my false identities, but I don't even know what I want. And then somebody else then said, I don't even know who I am. And I'm like, all right, so everything we're about to talk about, I'm going to kind of shoot this over here. We're going to just move this up to the side, utilize this worksheet for your own processing after this. But this is what's important. We actually have to answer and dive into this for everybody, not just for, like Marisa alluded to. You can't, sometimes it's you can be in groups where you're talking about identity. You can be talking about how do I navigate this identity? It's if you don't actually give yourself a space to go there with somebody that can actually hold space with you to help navigate what that actually means to you, sometimes you're not ever going to have movement. And I also can't tell you how many people in that room literally talked to counselors and therapists, but they had more movement with us in one weekend than they did with their therapist they talked to for 3 years. Come on, because we're actually able to hold this space with people. And we've also been there ourselves. So as I say that, this is truly another just hard, soft launch at the same time for why we're doing this collective. We know that we have a brilliance to freaking offer to y'all, not only just on how to run a motherfucking successful businesses that are profitable, that have really long-time team members, that have systems in place, that we've done the work, that we both see volume. We have systems to be able to manage that volume. I've had team members that have literally been with me for almost 9 years at this point. So it's we've done it and we've been there at that same point. But at the same time, we also are human beings that have been there and are currently dancing in the space of what HeartWork means for our lives. And we don't have it all together. It's the messy middle. It's the real life. It's all of that. But that is what you are going to get when you spend time with us. You are literally going to be able to experience transformation from the moment that you step on a call. And so is your team. I can promise you we are going to stand with that team and we're going to stand with you in ways that you've never experienced in any other collective before. And on the flip side of those 6 months, you are literally radically and individually, personally, and within your business are going to be dramatically transformed.
Legitimately. I mean, how many organizations even just are out there that'll actually work on a personal level with the people that you're developing? None. They'll develop their skill set of how to be great at the front desk, but they're not interested in actually getting in there with your teams so that it's not just about the role, but it's about the person embodying and walking into that role. And especially if you're a small business owner, this is a beautiful way where you can actually show how much you care about your team and their development, especially if, we're not capable in like investing in all of the different things of like 401k matches and just insurance benefits out the wazoo and all different things. But like, you want to let your team know that you care about not only their professional development, but their personal development as a human with skills that they're going to continue to develop and know and bring back to your office and add to the fruit of the mission and the vision and the intention of what you guys are as a business and as a team. Like, that shit sticks forever. I'm so excited. I am so riled up, and I could talk about this for the longest time, but we won't keep you here forever. But if you have any interest, again, the link is going to be in our show notes. We are only accepting a limited number of people. We cannot do this work without being able to get intimate. So as we are branching and launching our first cohort, we are very intentional about the access. So if you want it, do not wait because your spot may not be there. Here's what to expect over the 6 months. Every single month, owners will get a call with other owners. Team will get a call with other team, and then we'll have private chat channels as well as discussion boards that allow you and your teams access to chat not only with other organizations that are really freaking excited to do this work and be present with other teams that are also going down and trying to create more of a solid team culture, less exhaustion, and just continued improved outcomes for their business by doing the personal work. But two, it gives you the opportunity to workshop with us in real time based off of what's happening. Because again, one weekend, one personal development class, one leadership opportunity, one bowling outing with your team is not going to solve years and years of personal and individual stuff that we're just navigating day to day, and or any potential resentments that have built up within yourself or your team members. So you get, again, a lot of information from us. We have a resource library where we'll be posting our teachings. We'll be recording real live classes, assets, information for you based on what it is that you're navigating. So everything is super relevant to the season that you're in. But also, again, you'll be able to learn from what other offices are also going through. And as we help coach them through that, because you never know when that may turn around and show up on your own doorstep as well. So if you're curious, you need to step into it. And if you have questions, send an email to hello@theheartworklife.com. Again, it'll be in your show notes. If you aren't already a part of our email list, you can access that in our show notes. You can access it from our Instagram. So that way you get the first dibs and first notification. Follow us on Instagram. We have a lot of information that's being posted and that we're sharing there daily in stories and on our feed. You'll have plenty of opportunity. Again, just message us. And if we can't answer your question, we'll hop on a call with you and see if there are things that we can share with you or questions we can answer that can help you decide if this is going to be the best fit for you right now.
So thank you for joining us on another episode of the HeartWork podcast. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to lead with heart in your business and life.
If you enjoyed this, subscribe so you never miss a release, rate our show, leave us a review, get on our VIP email list, and join our exclusive Facebook group, The HeartWork Life, to plug into our community and learn from us and other heart-led entrepreneurs on a weekly basis.
We look forward to chatting with you next time.
Bye!